All right, let's check in with the eNCA Money Desk. Rupiah Madzena is back.
And Rupiah, you know what astonishes me is that 3 weeks ago, Durban was absolutely devastated by floods. There's still so much that has to be done. But this city is now hosting the Africa Travel Indaba, and I'm just amazed at the resilience of eThekwini, I have to say.
Absolutely amazed, Sally. And also there were discussions to move it to a different province, by the way, before it went underway. And of course, the government, they're saying they can handle the event and sure as they are handling the event there. So after a 2-year hiatus, Durban is once again hosting Africa's biggest trade show. Africa's Travel Indaba opened up today and it will be running until Friday. Around 4,000 delegates are expected to showcase their products from all over the continent. Tourism Minister Lindiwe Sisulu officially opened that expo, and KwaZulu-Natal has been hard hit by the year's riots as well as those recent floods, and it's hoping that the event, which usually generates millions for the local economy, will be successful. Let's talk more about this and more with David Frost, who's the Chief Executive of the Southern Africa Tourism Services Association. David, many thanks for your time this evening, and I do understand that you are attending that Travel Indaba that is currently underway. But from a South African perspective, what is it that you are engaging with different stakeholders in terms of where South Africa's tourism industry in, given what we've just seen as one of the bedrocks of the industry being ravaged by floods over the recent weeks?
Well, look, I must say it's great to be back in Durban. Indaba is always a key event on our tourism calendar. It's where the inbound industry really showcases itself to international buyers. And yeah, it's good to be back. It's my 22nd Indaba. And I mean, Durban's done us proud. Everybody is there, and it's part of a slow rebuild in terms of clawing our way back in terms of international tourism. There's a lot of pent-up demand out there, stronger in certain quarters than others, but it's as I say, part of a process, and it's great to actually see everybody in person again. And I mean, it's a massive psychological boost for the industry, but it's also obviously a massive economic injection for Durban, having suffered greatly in the recent floods.
No, absolutely. Let's talk about the announcement that was made by Premier Zigalala today, in that there will be a further opening up of the airspace to allow more airlines to come in, and that, of course, in turn having a positive impact on the economy as well as the tourism sector. Your thoughts on that announcement and really just the contribution it'll make?
Well, look, I mean, air access is key to us as a long-haul tourism destination. You know, we've been pressing from the private sector side for many years to have a far more open skies sort of approach to aviation, and we've recently seen I think really good moves in terms of the US carriers being allowed to fly triangular routes into the country. And we should really be seeking, I mean, the Western Cape has done a lot of really good work in this regard in terms of pushing air access, and it's great to see other parts of the country following suit. Something that we sorely need. And I mean, obviously coupled on the back of SAA getting up and running again, which is, I think, a sort of a very necessary part of our tourism machinery. So yeah, it's all moving in the right direction. We just need to take away still a couple of stumbling blocks we need to clear away. The vehicle licensing issue and the National Public Transport Regulator is a 5-year problem that government has repeatedly failed to address. And we're about to take the Minister of Transport and the Department of Transport to court to try and get them to do their day job, which is to allow our tourism entrepreneurs to license vehicles and operate effectively and economically. So, yeah, I think government needs to take a hard, cold look good support in certain areas, but there's still work to be done.
We've run out of time, David, so I'm going to try to squeeze two quick ones in that you could maybe just give us insight on. Any of your members making use of the bounce back scheme, given that businesses in the tourism industry would have been badly affected by recent events in South Africa? And then also just a final thought from you. Are there any concerns about this fifth wave that's been spoken about of the pandemic and the implications it could have on the tourism industry that's just beginning to recover?
Look, I mean, I think let me deal with the second one first. I think the whole issue of the fifth wave is something that we have to be circumspect about. But we've been through, I think, far more severe waves in the past. I think that just the way that we managed the pandemic initially and the protocols that have been put in place have really been exemplary. We had domestic tourism open for 18 months before the international side opened up, and we had a lot of pent-up demand. You know, people that would normally travel overseas were holidaying within South Africa, and the industry and the protocols we have were steadfast. So we had no super spreading or any major contributions to that pandemic. So I mean, I'm confident that we still have a really disciplined industry. We have disciplined staff members, and you know, I mean, we're at Indaba. I mean, there's social distancing. People are wearing masks inside the convention centre, and you know, that sort of behaviour, I think, will put us in good stead. I mean, just as a destination, we have. I think a lot of attractions and a lot of activities that take place outdoors. We have great weather. And so we're in a very different boat to the mass tourism destinations, for example, that you find in sort of Europe. And certainly what we're picking up from the buyers is a increased interest in the destination. And we're confident by September we will be back almost to pre-COVID levels. That's the start of our high season, and yeah, looking forward to that. Sorry, in terms of the bounce back thing, I don't have any information specifically on that. So I'm afraid let me just say I don't have any specific information about members using that bounce back scheme.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. David Frost is the CEO of the Southern Africa Tourism Services Association, attending the Africa Travel Indaba, and says very impressed with the way that Durban has been able to carry out that event given the dire circumstances that the province is emerging from. That's